He arrived with $20 and slept on the floor for 2 years. He arrived with $20 in his pocket. He had one small bag. He had a dream. He found a small rented room. The room had no bed. The floor was cold. He slept on the floor for 2 years. That cold floor was the first, hard reality of his new life in a country that promised so much but gave nothing freely. It was a constant physical reminder of how far he was from comfort, from security, from the life he imagined for himself. Every night the chill seeped through his thin blanket, but it could not cool the fire of his ambition. When he first walked out of the airport on that gray afternoon of May 12, 2013, he felt completely and utterly lost. The roar of the city was a deafening wave of unfamiliar sounds, honking cars, distant sirens, and 1,000 conversations he could not yet understand. He had no friends nearby, only a distant cousin who lived hours away. That cousin offered him a couch for 3 nights, a brief respite before he had to face the world alone, a stranger in a sprawling, indifferent metropolis. The first weeks were a blur of rejection and hunger. He walked for miles every single day, from one shop to the next, asking for any kind of work. "No" was the most common word he heard. He did not speak the language well enough. His accent was thick, and he did not know the subtle rules of this new culture. His $20 dwindled with alarming speed. He survived on the cheapest food he could find: day-old bread, instant noodles, and free water from public fountains. To save every precious dollar for the rent on his empty room, he continued to sleep on the floor. After a grueling month that felt like a lifetime, a small cleaning company finally gave him a chance. The pay was low, only $8 an hour, and the work was hard. He cleaned empty office buildings late into the night, scrubbing floors and emptying trash cans in the silent, echoing halls. He learned the names of cleaning supplies. He practiced simple phrases. He learned that a smile, even when you are exhausted, can make a difference. He worked 6 nights a week, never missing a shift. His nights were spent with mops and buckets, but his days were not for resting. He knew the cleaning job was a start, but it was not a future. He picked up a second job doing deliveries for a local restaurant. At first, he used a rickety, second-hand bicycle, his legs burning as he pedaled up steep city hills, a thermal bag strapped to his back. He learned the city's grid, the one-way streets, the shortcuts through narrow alleys. He learned to be quick, to be efficient, to navigate by landmarks when street signs were a jumble of confusing letters. He was a ghost in the city, working while most people slept, and racing through its streets while they worked. He saved every dollar he could, living on a shoestring, his diet simple and repetitive, drinking cheap, instant coffee to fight off the crushing exhaustion. He often worked 2 jobs back to back, finishing his cleaning shift at dawn and starting his delivery route an hour later. The skills he was learning were not taught in any school, but they were invaluable. The cleaning job taught him discipline and attention to detail. He learned how to make a space look perfect, how to work methodically and without supervision. The delivery job taught him about speed, customer service, and the geography of his new home. He learned how to greet with a nod, handle cash quickly, and apologize sincerely when an order was late. These were the humble foundations upon which he would later build his entire business, lessons learned in exhaustion and necessity. He was not just cleaning floors, he was earning his independence. He was not just delivering food, he was mapping out his territory. He never complained. "Work is work," he once said. "When you have nothing, you do not have the luxury of choosing. You only have the luxury of doing." His hands were often calloused and his back ached, but his spirit remained unbroken. He was saving for something more than just a bed. He was saving for a chance. The delivery job eventually allowed him to upgrade from the bicycle to a used scooter purchased for $400 in the fall of 2014. That scooter became his key to the city. It gave him speed and range, allowing him to take on more deliveries and explore new neighborhoods. He felt a sense of freedom on that scooter, weaving through traffic, the city lights blurring past him. He learned the rhythm of each district, the bustling chaos of downtown, the quiet streets of the suburbs, and the vibrant markets where immigrants sold goods from their homelands. He became a familiar face in the city's kitchens and on its doorsteps. People started to know him not just as a delivery driver, but as a person. He learned their names and sometimes brought small gifts from his country, a particular spice, a special tea. He was building a network without even realizing it. This period was incredibly lonely. Some nights, the solitude felt heavier than the delivery bag on his back. But even in his loneliness, he was observing and learning what people bought, what they ate, and what they were missing. He noticed a demand for authentic, high-quality ingredients that big supermarkets lacked. He saw a gap in the market. The turning point came on a Tuesday in early 2015. It was not a dramatic event, but a small, quiet moment that changed everything. He had taken on an extra cleaning job for a woman who managed a small office building. She noticed how carefully he worked and how polite he was. One afternoon, as he was finishing up, she asked about his life, where he was from, and what his dreams were. Hesitant at first, he told her everything: the cold floor, the long hours, the ache of homesickness, and then, with a flicker of hope, his small idea: a little shop, maybe a cart, to sell authentic spices and breads, to hire people like him. She did not offer sympathy. She offered him a chance. She wrote him a check for $500. It was not a gift, she explained, but a loan. Pay me back when you can. For him, it was validation. Proof that someone saw his effort and believed in his potential. That single act of kindness was the spark that lit the fuse. The money mattered, he says, but the trust was everything. With the $500, he immediately put his plan into action. He did not waste a single day. $200 for a sturdy second-hand pushcart and $300 for initial inventory. He found a prime spot near a busy train station. His first day was nerve-wracking. He set up the cart, arranged everything neatly, and waited. At first, business was painfully slow, 3 items in 6 hours.
He did not get discouraged. He engaged with people, offered free samples, and said good morning to everyone.
He learned regulars by name, added spices they asked for, and adjusted prices to be competitive. Slowly, people began to stop. Growth was incremental, one customer at a time. He kept his cleaning and delivery jobs and poured every spare dollar and moment into the cart. After a year, he rented a small, permanent stall in a local market, shelter and professionalism. He hired another recent immigrant and taught him everything he knew. A bigger breakthrough came in 2017 when a local food blogger wrote a glowing review, a hidden gem of authentic flavor. Suddenly, his little stall was no longer a secret. People came from all over. A newspaper sent a photographer. His sales tripled in weeks. He had found his audience. The taste of success was as rich and complex as his spices. The media attention and surge in customers gave him the capital and confidence to expand. In 2018, he rented a proper small shop. It was tiny, but it was his. He painted the walls himself, installed shelves, bought a real register, learned a simple inventory app, named the shop after his family, and welcomed tourists who began to discover it. He hired 2 more employees. 5 years after arriving with $20, he bought a small, used delivery van, a major milestone. The van let him bypass importers, go directly to wholesale suppliers, even to the port, sourcing better products at lower prices, transporting more. He expanded his product line and began a small wholesale operation, selling to shops and restaurants across the city. He finally had steady income. He paid back the $500 loan with interest and started sending money home. Then a buyer from an upscale grocery chain visited, impressed by the quality and authenticity. They offered a regional contract. His small business became a real company. He learned contracts, invoicing, supply chain logistics, and practiced for meetings with store managers, determined to be as professional as they were. He hired more people, rented a small warehouse, labeled and packed products, and shipped them out. The spark had become a steady flame. Today, more than 10 years after he first slept on that cold floor, his life is unrecognizable. He is the owner of a company with 2 retail shops. He owns a warehouse and runs a distribution network that supplies over 50 stores. He employs 12 people, pays fair wages, and offers the same kind of chance he once needed. He lives in a comfortable apartment with a real bed. He is a millionaire, not just in money, but in the trust he has built and the lives he has impacted. He keeps a faded photograph of that first empty room as a reminder of how far he has come. When people ask for his secret, he offers simple, practical advice.
First, learn something new every day, even one word. Small bits of knowledge add up. Second, save a small part of every dollar. It does not matter how small, consistency becomes abundance. Third, be kind to everyone who helps you and remember them. Help will come from unexpected places.
He is not ashamed of cleaning or delivering. Those jobs taught time, reliability, people, precision, and keeping promises. He still unlocks at dawn, sips tea, greets customers by name, tells product stories, and smiles when a child asks for a sample.